Hey everybody, it's the Ioniq guy. You join me today from McGovern Hyundai of Route 2 here in Leominster, Massachusetts. And it's a special day because I've got an SE, SEL, and my limited 2025 Ioniq 5s here. We're gonna do a full comparison between the three trims. We couldn't get the XRT. I'm gonna do a whole separate video on that because it is a very different vehicle from these three. So join me for a walkthrough and we'll talk about all the differences between these three cars. So we're first gonna start with the SE trim here. This here is an SE all-wheel drive, but it is available in rear-wheel drive as well as a small battery version with rear-wheel drive. That is going to be the cheapest version of the 2025 Ioniq 5. That SE standard range is going to have 168 horsepower as well as 245 miles of estimated range. If you do any amount of road tripping, I don't know if I would recommend going for the small battery pack. If you just need a commuter car, I think that's going to be a great option. It's going to look basically the same as this SE all-wheel drive, though. There's really not a whole lot of difference other than the battery pack and the drivetrain. You're still going to get these nice LED accented front headlights. This all-wheel drive version is rated for 290 miles. If you did go for the rear-wheel drive version, that is rated for 318 miles of EPA range. When talking about the differences between the rear-wheel drive and the all-wheel drive, the main difference is going to be that here on the all-wheel drive, you get a second front motor up front, which bumps your horsepower up to 320 horsepower. As well as 446 pound-feet of torque. And then the all-wheel drive does get a heat pump, which will make it more efficient to operate in the colder months of the year. Just like the rest of the Ioniq 5 lineup is going to charge from 10 to 80% in just 20 minutes. Every 2025 Ioniq 5, though, is going to come with a J1772 to NACS adapter, as well as a CCS1 to NACS adapter. This is going to allow you to use basically any charger here in North America. This can be used on your level 2 chargers at your home or your place of work. So it's nice that Hyundai does include that with every single version of the Ioniq 5. This color is Cyber Gray. It's a really well-featured car. You do get a lot for your money here. I will say over the years since the Ioniq 5 first went on sale, prices have gone up pretty regularly every single year. These cars here are about $4,500 more for each trim than when the car first went on sale for the 2022 model year. You do get these nice looking 19-inch wheels. These are 235/55 R19s. So between the SE and the SEL, the biggest difference is going to be your lighting. So here on the SE, you do have LED reflector headlights, and then you do have separate turn signals and hazard lights down lower in the bumper. On the SEL, that's all going to be integrated into the LED projector headlight modules. So that's what those are going to look like. The Ioniq 5 already doesn't have the best headlights in the business, so stepping up to the SEL trim for the projector headlights might be something to consider. Now, looking at the back end of the SE Ioniq 5, the lights are basically the same as you're going to get on the SEL trim. The only real difference between lighting is going to be between the SEL and the XRT, but we don't have the XRT, so we'll compare that to the 2025 limited trim. So you can see the center of the light bar right there looks a little bit different. It's going to be blacked out in the center of the SEL and the SE. You can see your hazard lights are still located in the square, just like on the limited trim. But if you do have your reverse lights on, here on the limited trim, they do light up with 4 little white pixels right there. On the SE and the SEL, your reverse lights are down here in the lower bumper. So one of the first big differences between the SE and the SEL is going to be that here on the SE, you do have a traditional manual hatch versus on the SEL. If you go ahead and press this button down here, it is automatic. The SEL does have a feature that if you do walk up to the back of the car with your phone or key fob in your pocket, it will automatically open the rear hatch. It's assuming that your hands are full and you can't reach down and grab the button. You do have all LED lighting throughout even the SE trim now, which is really nice. That used to not be the case. So here on the SE trim on the interior, things are pretty basic. You get a lot of hard plastics. You do get a soft kind of armrest here on the door, but everything else is pretty hard plastic. Then on the inside of the car, you have all fabric seating, which honestly looks pretty good. I don't think it looks bad. Kind of a two-tone. You have more of a kind of heather gray in the center and then black on the outside. Your driver's seat is 8-way power adjustable, but the passenger seat is going to be fully manual. Here you can see the manual seats. So this lifts the seat up, this lever here, and then that's your recline. And then of course you have the bar down below. You do get dual automatic climate control with 3 levels, which is really nice. 3-level heated seats, cavernous glove box. The armrest is nice and padded. And then you get a giant storage area here when you do lift it up. You do have a nice synthetic leather-wrapped steering wheel. This is a little steel plate covered in fabric that you can put magnets on, like my magnetic eyewear holders. 2 large 12.3-inch screens for your driver display as well as infotainment. Lots of nice buttons to bring you around the operating system. This is not like a Tesla or some other cars where they've removed a bunch of buttons. In fact, for this year, they've added quite a few buttons. Again, LED interior lighting. You do get a basic mirror, no home link buttons or anything, not auto dimming. Manual tilt telescoping steering wheel. In the SEL trim and above, you do get a wireless charging pad here. On the SE, it's just kind of this empty space for your phone, but I am going to be selling a wireless charger adapter that does kind of hook around this rubber mat here and will allow you to wirelessly charge your phone here. That is going to utilize a MagSafe charging puck. This steering wheel is not heated or anything. This car does have a 6-speaker audio system. It's okay. It's the same that I had in my 2022 SEL. Nothing to write home about, but it'll get the job done. You do get USB-C ports throughout the car, which is new for 2025. 2 good-sized cup holders. I do sell cup holder enlargers that will increase the capacity up to about 3.5 inches. You do get some pixel embossing taking place in the back of the seat here, which looks good. Now, the Ioniq 5 is known for its pretty quiet interior. You do have double laminated glass here on the front doors. Unfortunately, in the SE trim, that does not carry over into the rear seats. This is a single piece of glass. All Ioniq 5s come with the automatic pop-out door handles, which make getting in and out really easy. Back seat of the car, basically all hard materials, even down here on the lower section of the door panel. All 4 doors have these plastic Ioniq 5 skid plates. One of the nicest things about the Ioniq 5 is how wide the rear doors open. I mean, you can see how easy it is for somebody even 6'2" to just hop into the back of this car. Same thing cannot be said about a lot of other EVs. One of the Ioniq 5's coolest features is that the back seats do slide forward and backward, and then obviously they do fold basically almost fully flat. Getting in the back, you'll see 2 more USB-C ports. You do get dual map pockets on the backs of the front seats. More LED interior lighting. Back for 2025 is a rear armrest with cup holders. That wasn't even on the SELs for the 2024 model year. Super glad they brought that back. You do have headrests that are connected to the seats. We'll talk about that more when we get to the limited trim though. Same 2-tone cloth seating surfaces here in the back. That's really about it back here though. It's a very basic back seat. The SE trim all around, just a very basic car. You're getting a lot of stuff, but you're not getting too many bells and whistles. On the screen right now, I'll have a list of all the features that you get here on the SE trim because those all carry over through all versions of the Ioniq 5. There's just too many to name individually. So now that we've talked about the SE trim, let's talk about what's different between the SE and the SEL. One of the first differences between the SEL and the SE is going to be the SEL gets roof rails for the 25 model year. The SE does not have them. At some point in the future, I'm sure there will be aftermarket options that you will be able to add, but right now, nothing is available. Here on the SEL trim, you also do get auto folding side view mirrors. They will close when you lock the car and walk away, and then when you come back, they will open for you. Here on the SE, you're going to be folding them in manually. SEL gets the LED projectors. SE has the LED reflector headlights. Here on the SEL, you can see the double laminated rear glass, so that is going to contribute to a quieter cabin. Here with the SEL, you do get digital key 2.0. That means you can just walk up to the car with your phone in your pocket. You don't have to no longer tap it on the door handle or anything. You can just open up the door, get right in, start the car, and you're on your way. Again, you do have the electrically actuated rear power liftgate here on the SEL. The SEL is going to get some more safety features too, including lane change oncoming, lane change side detection, and evasive steering assist. Besides that, there's really not much different on the exterior between the SEL and the SE. There's a lot of changes on the interior though, so let's hop in. Here on the door panels, not really any difference other than you gain that button for folding the side view mirrors if you do want to do it manually. Same plastic door sill plates. But then here on the interior, back for 2025, is the leatherette interior, or as Hyundai calls it, H-Tex. You still get the 8-way power adjustable driver's seat. And here on the passenger side, you do have a 6-way power seat, so there's no lumbar adjustment there. But that's a really nice upgrade. No SEL trim in the US has had a power seat since the car went on sale in late 2021. Hopping in the car, the first thing you'll notice here in the center console is you now gain a heated steering wheel. That is 2 levels, very nice. You do also get that wireless charging pad seen here. When you do put a phone on there, it will light up these 3 dots up here and kind of tell you visually that the phone is actively charging. Here on the SEL trim, you do get auto up and down front windows. So all you got to do, tap the button, the window will go down, pull it back up once, and it will go up. And that is the same over on the passenger side. Up above, you do gain a auto dimming rear view mirror with 3 home link buttons for garage doors or gates or whatever. Pretty much no differences here on the center console. Big storage area. You got 2 USB-C ports down there. Same displays, same place for magnets. No changes to any of the buttons or anything. Checking out the back seat of the SEL. Really no differences on the door panels. Kind of all hard plastic. But you do get rear heated seats, which is also new for SEL in the US. That has never been an option. Same leatherette seating here in the back seat. Looking good. I'm a big fan of Hyundai's leatherette. It holds up really well. My 2022 Ioniq 5 that I just sold didn't really have any issues with any of the seating surfaces. It cleans really easily. I think it looks nice. All around, no complaints. Another thing you'll notice here in the back, the SEL trim does get air vents for the rear occupants. Armrest with dual cup holders. I do have cup holder enlargers for the rear seat in small, medium, and large as well. Another thing that the SEL gains that you can't actually see is there is now a radar sensor for the rear seats that will verify whether somebody has been left in the back seat and is kind of moving around. That is a very nice safety feature. I'm sure those of you with kids, maybe you've had close calls. You hear the stories on the news about people forgetting their kids in the cars, just absolutely horrific nightmare of a situation. And this radar system could really save a lot of children. So I think that is an awesome feature to have. I really wish that that was available on the SE trim as well. I think that should be standard across the board. So that's everything different between the SE and the SEL trim. I'm glad to see that Hyundai's added a lot of the features back to the SEL that they removed for 2024. It was really getting difficult to recommend the SEL because it was basically an SE with like an option package. Calling it a different trim level was kind of criminal in my opinion because they really stripped it of any of its decent features. But I can actually safely recommend the SEL trim again. All right, so it's time to move on to the limited trim. So the headlights on the SEL versus the limited trim, there's really no difference. They're the same lighting modules. The only real difference in terms of lighting on the front of the Ioniq 5 Limited is you do get this accent light, which does include these little vertical lines through the bumper. It looks really cool at night. That used to be available on the SEL in 2022, but has since been removed over the years. The limited trim also gets the 20-inch wheels. These are 225/45 R20s versus the SEL's 19-inch 235/55 R19s. And these will have an impact on your range. So the all-wheel drive here is rated for 269 miles of range. If you do get it in rear-wheel drive, it's rated for 318 miles. Because that does have the 19-inch wheels, just like the other trims of the Ioniq 5. The rear-wheel drive here is going to have 225 horsepower versus 320 horsepower here on the all-wheel drive version. Here on the limited trim, you're going to find all these gloss black accents on the B-pillars, along the bottoms of the windows. All the black trim on the exterior of the SEL is upgraded to this silver plastic here on the limited trim. Some people really like the silver, some people really prefer the black. The silver's kind of growing on me as I own this limited trim longer and longer. My mirrors are a little dirty, but this is all gloss black plastic as well, versus here on the SEL, it is matte. Another big difference, the limited trim is going to have the surround view parking system, which includes cameras in the side mirrors. That is not found on the SEL and below. You are also going to have rain sensing windshield wipers here on the limited trim. The limited trim does also have more advanced parking safety features, so you do get an extra little sensor here versus on the SEL, that does not exist there. So if you're trying to park the car, it will slam the brakes if you are going to hit something sideways. So we kind of already talked about some of the changes with the lighting here on the back on the limited trim versus the SEL. And then you have more of that silver accent plastic here in the back of the car. The limited trim does get the digital rear view mirror. This is the camera for that. Here's what that looks like on the inside of the car. You can flip between a regular auto dimming rear view mirror with home link buttons, or you can go to the digital rear view mirror if you don't really like it. It does take some getting used to. That's pretty much it on the outside versus the SEL. So let's step on the inside because there's a lot of changes here. So the first thing you're gonna notice, the door panels, much more luxurious here in the limited trim, soft touch material here on the upper, pretty much same amount of padding here down on the lower section. Here you will notice 2 memory seats, so you can have driver 1, driver 2. The car does also have multiple driving profiles, so all in all you can have 4 separate seating adjustments saved into the car's memory, which is pretty cool. You do also get some upgraded materials here. You can see the pixel pattern here on this piece of material, some fabric right here, some stitching. It does look really classy. You do have the upgraded 8-speaker Bose sound system, which includes the same 6 speakers as in the SEL, as well as a center channel and a sub under the trunk floor. Here on the limited trim, you do have the brushed stainless steel door sill plates. Those are a little upgraded versus the other trims. Here you will see the 10-way power driver seat. It does have relaxation mode, which you can hold down this button and it will move out the thigh rest, kind of create like a lounge seating position. Pretty cool. It's nice when you're stopped and charging. I did use it on my road trip back to Boston from Colorado. If you haven't seen that video, that's a fun one. Another difference here with the limited trim is the driver's headrest actually ratchets forward and backward, which is not an option on the SEL or lower. I actually do find it does give me a little bit more of a comfortable seating position, so I do like that. Another nice touch here on the limited trim is the center console here. It slides. There's a handle on the front you grab, you can pull it forward, push it backward. You can create more space in the back for people's legs if you want somebody in the center position, or you can move it all the way back and say you can't get out on the driver's door, you can kind of just shift through this little tunnel here. Kind of a neat feature. Another feature here on the limited trim is going to be ventilated seats. Those are 3 level. Pressing this button here, we can pull up our surround view camera system. So you kind of have a 360-degree view around the car. Really cool. You can actually request these images through the My Hyundai app. So if you want to check in on your car, you can do that. This overhead view, super helpful for parking, especially parallel parking in a city. Another nice little touch, the pixels here on the steering wheel cover are illuminated, and if you do change drive modes, they will change color. You can see it just kind of shifting through. If the car is charging, they will light up green, just kind of showing the charging status. It's just a nice little touch. All the screens, controls here, all the same here in the limited trim. The other big change on the interior of the car is the panoramic glass roof with the shade, which you can shut if you don't want the sun beating down on you. Right now, for filming purposes, I'm going to leave it open so it makes the interior here nice and bright so you can see everything. Another thing here on the limited trim, you do get a head-up display. You might not be able to see it just because of the lighting right now, but trust me, it is right there. That'll display all sorts of information like your speed, blind spot, speed limit, all sorts of cool information. Here's some of my magnetic glasses holders here on that pad. Because of the advanced camera system here, you do have the blind spot view cameras. Whether you have your blinker to the right or blinker to the left, it will show you kind of down the side of the car. Really little nifty feature. So an upgrade versus the SEL is all 4 windows in the limited trim are auto up and down. So if I push that down, that does open up. Now you're not going to really be able to see it here in the daylight, but the limited trim does have ambient interior lighting. I'll throw in some clips of what that looks like at nighttime. You do have something called active sound design, which basically simulates speed through sound. So as you are accelerating, it will increase the sound on the interior of the car, which makes you just kind of have a closer relationship with what the car is doing, because in an EV it's so quiet. Sometimes you can be really going a little bit too fast just because it accelerates so quickly and is so quiet. I personally am not a fan of it. I leave it off, but some people do like it. You do also have a vehicle to load outlet. This is going to be a standard 120 volt household outlet. You can plug anything in there up to 15 amps and it will power it. Really nice to have on the interior of the car. You don't have to rely on the vehicle to load adapter through the charge port. So getting into the back of the limited trim, you're going to see upgraded door materials in the back here. This is soft touch. This is soft touch. You get some of the same door treatments down lower. Then another nice feature, if you do have kids, you do have rear sunshades so you can keep the sun off of them or give them some privacy. Same brushed stainless steel sill plates here in the back. Same heated seats as found in the SEL. You do have a slightly different back side of the center console here in the limited trim because it does move back and forth. Here's what that panoramic glass roof looks like from the back seat. The car almost has stadium seating, so seated behind myself, if I did put the headrest down a little bit more, I would be able to see over the head of the driver. Kind of cool. Same HVAC vents. Now, if you recall from earlier, I kind of pointed out in the SE trim that the rear seat headrests were attached to the back lower portion of the seat. Here in the limited trim, they do adjust up and down. That's only available here on the limited trim. I think it's a nice feature to have if you put a taller person back here. All limited trims do come with the cargo cover, which is easy to deploy and retract. Very high quality cargo cover. And then under the floor, you will see, versus the SEL in SE trim, this is where your subwoofer lives. So it does take up basically all of the underfloor storage. So if you do want a little bit more underfloor storage, you might want to go for the SEL trim. Here's the underfloor of the SEL trim. So you can see no subwoofer, you got plenty of room to store your accessories. Now, another cool feature with the limited trim is you get Remote Smart Park 2, which basically on your key fob gives you 2 buttons to drive the car forward and reverse. So to use that, all you do is lock the car, hit the hold button to start it, and then you will push these buttons either forward or reverse, whichever direction you want the car to move, and you should see it start coming backward. If I let go of the button, it stops. Push it forward. It will then move forward until you let go of the remote, and then you can turn it off just by hitting hold again. Boom. All right, so it's time to talk pricing. So the SE standard range starts at $42,600. These numbers are all before the about $1,500 delivery fee. The SE rear-wheel drive with the big battery, $46,650. The SE all-wheel drive, $50,150. The SEL all-wheel drive, $49,600. The SEL all-wheel drive, $53,100. And then the limited rear-wheel drive, $54,300. The XRT is going to be $55,500. If you want that with a trailer hitch, $55,950. And then the limited all-wheel drive, $58,200. So close to $60,000. Some of them will be slightly over $60,000 if you do get one of the matte paint color options. So it's definitely not a cheap car, but where this car really shines is with its lease deals. You can lease a limited all-wheel drive for under $600 per month with 0 down. That's pretty easy to do. Depending on your state as well, I mean, like, people in Colorado can lease these things for like $150, $200 a month. It's absolutely insane. I'm super jealous. My limited all-wheel drive is $560 per month with 0 down, 12,000 miles per year for 2 years. I really can't complain with that because it's still cheaper than financing the SEL all-wheel drive I used to own. Now, there are quite a few color options for these cars as well. They've added some for 2025. So you've got Abyss Black, Cyber Gray, Atlas White, Digital Teal, Lucid Blue, Atlas White Matte, Ecotronic Gray Matte, Gravity Gold Matte, Ultimate Red, that's only available on the XRT trim, and Cosmic Blue Pearl, that's also an XRT exclusive color. I haven't seen the red or the blue on the XRT yet. I'm excited to check that out when they do start hitting dealer lots though. They have kind of shifted around some of the color options for interior and which exterior colors those go with. I'll have all those on screen right now. There's one color combination that I think is really weird to omit, and that is if you get an SEL Digital Teal Ioniq 5, you cannot get a gray interior. All the other colors, you can get a gray interior. Digital teal, you can only get a black interior. A lot of people really don't like all black interiors and they want a gray interior, so not sure why they removed that. It's the only one. Very strange. All right, guys, I think that's gonna do it for this comparison video. If you guys did like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know which trim of the 2025 Ioniq 5 you're thinking of going for. Check out my store at ioniqguy.com for accessories for any of these cars. Consider becoming a channel member for as little as 99 cents per month. For $3 per month, you can get early access to all of these videos, as well as a 5% discount to my store. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.